Welcome to the Curry Gumbo Podcast with Nicole and Ashley, and today we have a TV episode review. Stay tuned. My girlfriends.
As I watch this episode, I can understand why Issa in Insecure in the final moments of that pilot episode, she's singing. It's so similar.
I was thinking the same thing. Okay, so Girlfriends came out in 2000, created by Mari Barker-Kill. This pilot episode, Joan is turning 29.
Same as
and
Issa.
I immediately thought about, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, this 29th birthday, or like, on the heels of 30, everybody's worried, like, oh my God, I'm almost 30. An ex is involved. Like, it's the same thing. Toni and Joan, they love each other, but Toni is a hot mess.
Oh my God. Shout out to her because the acting is amazing, because I was so upset with her that I wanted to watch the episode where Joan has just had enough of Toni's foolishness.
I'm tired of being your whipping dog. I'm tired of explaining to people what's good about you when I'm not even sure myself. I've always given you the benefit of the doubt, Toni, because I honestly didn't believe that you meant to hurt me. But now I believe you do.
And it take that dang gospel song that everybody was that we fall down. Is that it?
Oh
yeah,
my
back
goodness.
up again. It was like it took that song, Donnie McClurkin, to get these two back together. It would have took way more than that. Okay, Yolanda Adams would have had to come pick me up out the bed and stop me from weighing Toni out. But anyway, yeah, sorry. She's turning 29. It's essentially about someone who feels like their youth is dwindling and they want more out of life and they don't have a man. Same as Insecure.
But the difference is, like I mentioned before, with these Gen X, Generation X TV shows, girl, how you had that big old house at 29? You a lawyer?
Listen, you're about to be junior partner. Like, I'm like, you're doing so wonderful. Who messed us up so much that you think that this isn't good enough?
The only normal one was Lynn, because everyone else, I'm doing the math. I'm like, I'm looking up their real ages. I think in real life, Tracy was 28. Everybody, Toni, was that Jill Marie Jones? She was 25 in real life. And I'm like, but let's say in the show they're all 28, 29. It's like, Toni, how you live in how you got your house? Maya's married with a kid. It's like, dang.
Yeah.
So everybody just accomplished. Lynn, the only normal one. She's the only representation of a 28, 29-year-old. And they was looking at her like she was crazy.
Well, I mean, I think that for Joan, I mean, if you're going to school straight through,
that is, I know it's possible. Like I know it's possible. I know there's plenty of people who went straight to law school, and even in real life, I think Michelle Obama was her at 28, and she had Barack when she was 28. So it's
I feel
damn,
like
girl,
for us,
make us look bad.
Well, for us, the economy was just like, yeah, nope.
Oh yes, yes.
Job.
That 2008 recession knocked
No.
everything off. It was like, oh, y'all thought y'all was doing something, getting the college degree?
Nope.
Forget this college degree. Not this year.
Debt is what you have. Maya done got that girl a stuffed animal and a dang dollar store balloon that she got from the dude selling the stuff in the street. She says that had the light not turned green, she would have been able to get her apple or orange. So it's like, I think I like that it wasn't oh my god, we're gonna go all out for your birthday. It's like, girl, here go this stuffed animal. Like we don't have time for that. What, invite me to the party. Like I don't know. I liked
Hmm.
that. Um,
Well,
because I
then
feel like
Maya works works for Joan, and it's like she's her secretary.
yeah,
So you kind of see there, like the paid. Well, I guess Joan is a higher level than Maya, so it's like, what's Maya gonna buy her that Joan can't buy herself?
well, I mean, I think you can be friends with people who are in different tax brackets and still get them a
No, I'm not.
thoughtful
Yeah,
gift.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so
That's true.
I guess what I'm saying is only a real friend can give you a crappy gift and you're like cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like,
Appreciate it.
yeah, because and tell you that they didn't put much thought into it. Like if Maya and Joan were not really good friends, I feel like Maya probably still would have gotten that stuffed animal, but she wouldn't have said, "Oh yeah, I got this from dude off the street." Like it would have been like, "Happy
She would have lied
birthday."
about it.
It would have been so fake, but I think that establishes their closeness. And I like the
Hmm.
way that they set up kind of the hierarchy of friends here because I think because it's Joan's birthday and because it's her show, we know that she's the main character. We learn in this episode that Joan and Toni have known each other since 5th grade. And then we know that Joan probably met Lynn in college. So we know that
Hmm.
those three were very tight. And then Joan is bringing in Maya.
Hmm.
It's very living single in that
Yeah.
everyone is kind of circling Khadijah. Everyone is
Mm,
there because
yes.
they know Khadijah. Everyone
Yep.
in Sex and the City is there because they know Carrie.
Carrie. Yep.
Everyone is in Girlfriends because they know Joan.
Hmm.
So I like that it was like these four are super close, but the two closest are Joan and Toni, then Lynn, then Maya.
Hmm. Joan is having a get together for her birthday, and how do we find out Toni is bringing Joan's ex boyfriend as her plus one?
Because she's kicking Lynn out of her house.
Oh
So that's how
yes,
we know that Lynn is like constantly homeless. Um, and where are Lynn's parents? Do we ever learn that? Like, is she?
I remember her mom. I think her mom was right on the show.
Hmm.
Remember, she had like,
I remember that
I can't
sister,
remember.
that white
Yeah, maybe
sister
it's
who
about her
thought
sister.
who was doing too much.
Maybe that's who I'm thinking about. The sister. Did we ever see the mom or no? I
Because
don't
I'm
know.
like, why don't you have anywhere to go, ma'am? But anyway.
Well, it could be. I mean, I don't think it's unrealistic. Her being, let's just say they're all 28. Um, they're in LA, and so I guess whatever town she's from, probably
Hmm.
don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
Maybe she's, and may also at that age, you kind of don't really want to go back home.
You look too grown for that.
Yeah, it's like you want to try to, because then when you go home at 28, it's still weird because it's like I'm grown, so let me
Hmm.
just don't get on my back about it. Like I'm whatever the situation is, you know, it could be a weird situation with her and her parents and her just trying to figure out life. And it's like, what, I'd rather stay with my friends
Hmm.
and stay with my mama. And I can see that. But you're right. Toni tells Lynn as she's kicking her out her house that she is bringing Joan's ex-boyfriend to
Trash.
Joan's birthday party. And she
What
wasn't even
is
gonna
the
tell her.
intention? What is the intention? What do you want? Because I have a theory, but I want to know what you think is going on with Miss Toni Childs. What's going on?
I think she's like in like slight competition with Joan, just in life.
I think it's deeper than that.
What? She wants to be Joan?
I wrote it down.
Okay.
I said, does Toni want to cross the line so that others can prove they want her in their lives?
Oh.
Are you like constantly bucking up against somebody's boundaries because you don't believe they love you? You don't believe that they care about you. You don't believe that they really want you as a friend. So you need to make them prove it. And by proving it, you going to do something messed up because you know when you do that, it's easy for somebody to dismiss you. But if they come back after you have like violated them, then it's real. It's like, is that what's going on? Cuz this is episode 1, ma'am. The first one. What are you doing?
How you invite? First of all, you inviting your friend's ex to her birthday. That's number
Fir-
one.
First of all,
Forget
you first.
as a date. Just
Oh
inviting
my!
him to the birthday. It's like, why would you do that?
What is in your head? Well, that's why I'm like, it has to be you're testing people. That's it. Got to be that. It got to be
She
that.
playing
You're
games.
not a sociopath. You're not like all the dudes in LA. All the dudes that you meet because they met because he was like at a listing, one of her listings, because she's in real estate. You mean to tell me this the only man you met? You're gorgeous. You
You
can
don't
have
even need.
anybody.
You don't need to bring a man to your friend's birthday.
Why no one else is? What are you doing? But that's so I mean, speaking of competition, it's like the attention has to be on you. It's Joan's birthday, but the attention cannot be on
Has to
Joan.
be.
You have
Yeah.
to snatch some of it away.
You
Child,
want
a
people
mess.
talking about you, even though it's not your day. You still want to be the center of conversation. We get to the birthday dinner, and of course, the ex shows up.
And he's trash. Because what I would have said is like let's say I'm
No,
Charles. Let's say I'm Charles and for whatever reason I just got to have me some Toni Charles. I'd be like, "Hey, maybe the birthday like maybe her birthday isn't what I need to be going to. Maybe not."
he probably want to see Joan too, because I'm
Oh,
like,
for
you don't just show
sure.
up at why do you want to go to your ex's birthday?
You
Unless
trying to throw
like
something in
why?
their face.
Like why do you want to be there? Joan, who told Joan? Oh, Lynn told Joan, right?
No,
Because Joan
Toni
knew he was
told
coming before he came.
Lynn made Toni tell Joan.
Tell, okay,
And of course she lied because
and pretended like it was okay.
I think that with some friends, there's always that dynamic of like one kind of being afraid of the other. I see that in some friend groups. Like
One
if
person is afraid, or are they afraid, or they just don't want to cause any I guess tension, or they don't want confrontation. They're just like,
but
you know what?
I think that's
I don't
fear.
want
I think that is being afraid.
all the fear of confrontation.
Fear of confrontation with that person. I think that
Mm.
if Lynn angered Joan, she would get at Lynn. I think there's already a power dynamic
Oh,
with
okay.
Joan and Maya because Maya works for her.
Yeah.
I think that with Toni, Joan is kind of afraid of her. I'm gonna just say that. Like I think she's a little afraid of her.
Yeah, because she was acting like it was cool. I'm like, girl, you know it ain't cool.
And Toni, if this is your friend, and Toni knows that it's not cool, and that's if this is your friend since the 5th grade, you know she might be afraid to tell you the truth in that moment. So why, Tony? Why? That's why when Tony broke it off with Charles because she says she loves Joan and she comes over to apologize and Charles is there because he's trying to get back with Tony. I mean, he's
With
trying to get back with
Joan. He was trying to get
Joan.
with Joan.
I wouldn't have been trying to hide nothing. Joan is like really afraid that Tony is going to
Yeah,
see
that
that
was kind
Charles is
of
there
weird.
because
Cause
she's
I'm like,
scared of
why
that
you?
girl.
First of all, that was your man first, and so if he's at your house, he at your house. Like, why are you here, Tony? But anyways, Maya found out that
I loved it.
that Charles Tony's date was Joan's ex. She was like, wait, now what now?
And just start spitting facts. Black women don't do this, just like black women don't do blue eyeshadow. And that's exactly what Tony had on. And I also was like, girl, your eyelids look ashy. This is not it.
And we kind of see that dynamic between Maya and Tony.
And you
That,
know
like
what
you said,
that
they're just
is?
there because of Joan.
Do you know what that's about? It's about, I think
Competing over
Tony
friendship.
I think Tony doesn't want to compete with anybody.
Yeah.
She knows Lynn is safe. Like Lynn will do what I say to a certain extent. Maya's not. I can't run Maya.
Nope.
So if I can't run Maya, I don't want her around Joan
Nope.
because Joan is my friend. Everyone needs to respect the fact that Tony comes first when it comes to Joan. And Maya's not going to do that. And I feel like that's some of the tension. I
But
also
not
think
only, I was gonna say, not only
the
that, Maya is gonna tell Joan the truth, just like in this situation, because with the whole Charles thing, Lynn is like, listen, this is messed up, but you need to have a conversation with her. And Tony's like, whatever. Maya is like, oh, y'all
you
trifling.
trash, trifling,
Like, Maya's
gaslight.
gonna say it
Yeah.
straight. Like, she's not gonna beat around the bush. And so that's kind of like, it kind of puts pressure on Tony to kind of like step up as a friend when she doesn't really have to. If it wasn't for
And
Maya, Tony can be a trash friend to Joan and no one would check her.
and I think that there's some elitism going on. I also think that there's some colorism going on. I think if Maya looked like Lynn, Tony would have a different reaction with her. I
Probably.
think that if Maya was moneyed in the way that
Mm-hmm.
Joan is, I think that Tony would have a different, there would be just a different interaction between
Yeah.
the two. So they get a lot of work done. Like, I think they get a lot of character development done in the first episode. Like, we know Tony's the snooty one. Like, we get the
Mm-hmm.
character breakdowns immediately. I wish that we knew more about Joan's work life because Joan Joan is a lawyer in the way that like Max is a lawyer and Claire Huxtable is a lawyer.
I'm
I feel
so
like out of
over.
all of them, I think out of all of them, I knew more about
Just like
Max's
Molly.
job.
Molly is a lawyer. I'm so over this lawyer character type. It's like, can we
Like what type
please?
of lawyer? Give me
Can we
something
get
else.
another profession, please? Oh my goodness. That's just like the easiest things. I like the everyone already did the research, so we don't have to do no more research
But I think that
about
they
law
didn't do
school.
any research because I
Yeah,
think I don't know anything about it. She becomes junior partner and that's all that we know.
yeah.
There isn't it was like the movie Barbarian. Like when we watched that, and she went on the job interview, and we couldn't
And
hear
like we
any of
didn't
the
hear
job interview
nothing. It was
because
silent.
it didn't matter. Like that wasn't the point of the movie. That's not why we're here. And I think that that is the case with girlfriends. Like we don't know anything about what she does. She got all these folders and papers on her desk. We don't know what the fuck she doing because that's not why
Nope.
we're here. We're here to talk about these four women.
Just know she has a nice house and she make money.
That's it. Joan and Toni make up, and Charles is there. And he's like, "Hey, let's go to this Chinese restaurant." And Joan is like, "All right, you go. We'll freshen up and meet you there." Oh, I knew
They was
that
gonna
she was
dump
about
him.
to leave him because the point of the show, what are the women? And I'm so happy that they also invite Maya out because I was like, if because I don't remember this episode. I was like, if they just have dinner with the three of them, then I know that they are the core three. But by
Hmm.
inviting Maya and ending with the four, I was like, okay, Maya is an official part of this group.
And we can't forget about William,
We can't forget
the
about
fifth,
him.
the guy
And we,
friend.
yes, we do love him. But again, it's about them foe. It's about them foe gals.
Hmm. Did you watch? Which did you watch? I guess a lot of girlfriends. Do you watch
No, I
all
mean
the
I did,
seasons,
but
episodes?
I'm not. I'm a living single girl, and
Why
I'm
is
just.
that? Is it because it's like what's the difference? Honestly,
I think this show was out when I was a young teen, like maybe 13, 14, or maybe even like 16, 17.
what? Which one? Girlfriends?
Girlfriends.
Yeah, 2000.
So yeah, I'm 16, 15, 16,
Yeah.
and I don't think I wanted to be that grown. Cause girlfriends, I
Well,
think
Living
is
Single is grown. They was the same age,
not
29,
really.
30.
But I don't. It was grown, but it was playful because I think it's still later. It's an advanced show in that I feel like it leans a little bit more towards R ratings than Living Single. To me, I felt that way.
But Girlfriends
Yes.
is,
Like what you could get away with in 2000, you probably couldn't get away with that in the 90s.
oh, because it was, I'm trying to see. I think it's TV 14, and that's the rating. I know Living Single might be like, it's probably like PG. All those shows from the 90s was like PG 13.
Yeah, and I mean I just I connected more to the humor of the girls in the brownstone. I just kind of felt like it was a little bit too much. This is gonna sound ignorant, but I'm like I don't. It's too much of that Valley Girl talk. I don't like that.
Oh,
Like I
I
didn't
can
like
see
the way
that.
Tony talked. I didn't like the way Joan spoke. I didn't like the way Maya spoke. It's like I don't. I no. I don't talk like that. No, ma'am.
I can understand that. They were way more bougie
Yeah.
than even Regine. Because even though
Yeah.
Regine was bougie, she was like they knocked her down a little bit. Like she was still like
It didn't
she
feel
still hung
phony
out with
to
her
me.
cousin.
Like Regine was
Mm-mm.
phony in the ways like, oh, I'm gonna rock this fake hair and I'ma say I spent a lot of money on it, but I didn't. But I think Regine was still gonna give you like a moment where it's like I feel completely comfortable with this person. I would not feel comfortable sitting next to Toni. I would just not feel
Yeah,
comfortable at all.
Regine can fit in with all the cast members. Overton, Kyle, Sinclair,
I think
Max, like they
Kyle
can all
and
sit.
yeah, I think Kyle and Regine can sit and talk to the ladies and girlfriends, but like Overton is not hanging out with him at all.
No.
They would have made fun of Sinclair so much that Khadijah would have had to beat everybody's ass.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. It's like I'm sorry. I can't. I don't like them. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I adore all of the actors. And I mean, I did watch some episodes. Like I know about the big fight between Joan and Toni. Like I know about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not. No, I'd rather watch Eve. I felt like I like Eve.
It was more comedy, I guess. Girlfriends wasn't. I mean, it had funny moments.
And I think I've always been I mean, even at like 10 and 11 and 13, I think I was always career focused. I know that sounds silly, but when I was like 10, I was like, I want to be an actress. I want to do, So I think I was always interested in my creative endeavors. And so I can appreciate, you know, Flavor magazine in a show like Living Single.
Okay.
Like I know nothing about what these women want to do with their lives.
That is a good point because a lot of people talking about even what's the show, A Different World. People always say people they watched that show and wanted to become an engineer, like
Yes.
what's his
I know
name,
Kim want to be a
or
doctor. I
yeah,
know
like
that,
you knew their majors, you knew their jobs, like what they did for work. We knew that Dwayne, when he made that little game for Konichiwa,
mhm.
doing his interview, it's like he was like, okay, I can do this. But with girlfriends, it's like, what type of lawyer are you, Joan?
Right. And so it's like I don't care. Like we go to work with Kyle. We know what he's doing. Like
Yeah,
we're on
he's a
special projects.
stockbroker.
We
Yeah,
we see Overton fix stuff around the house. We follow
yep.
Regine on her career trajectory. We see Max go from like working at a law firm to working in the DA's office. We
We
see
see Max get
Sinclair.
fired.
We see Max get fired. We see her get hired. We see her work in a law firm. Then she's in a DA's office, and she's running for alderwoman. Like
Yeah.
and it's
We see
Sinclair
Max
is
in
like
court, even when who had a
exactly
speeding, who had a ticket or whatever, and we was like, okay, Max, like, all right, we're gonna go to court. This is what we gonna do.
yeah.
So we see them work.
I mean, I can even say the same about Martin. Like, the only person we don't know about is Tommy. Even like
And that was the joke.
and we don't
Yeah.
see Cole cleaning out the airplanes, but I know what Cole do. And and we see Gina and Pam at work. We see Martin at work. We see him get another job. I don't care about like it. So that's why it's like I never seen it for girlfriends. I'm not saying that work has to be. I don't think that black people should be tied to work. I don't. But I need to see something outside of I want a man. I want a man in my life. Like, girl, get the what? Okay,
Yeah,
girl.
but the job was something you can kind of relate to, even if that wasn't your profession. You can be like, oh, okay, I've never seen a radio host, or I've never seen like people when Gina and Pam when they were doing their marketing and they had to do the presentation at their job. It's like, oh, okay, I've never seen this before. This is how this works. It's like it was important. You think we like a proper finale or like a movie like Sex in the City,
I wouldn't mind it.
a movie?
A movie or just bringing it back the way Sex in the City is brought back in like,
Okay.
little 8 episode seasons. I wouldn't mind that.
Where do you think the characters are now?
I don't know and I don't care. That's how much
Oh,
I I'm not trying to be nasty, but I just do not care about these girls. but I want everyone to be happy. Like I want the show to come back because I just know what it means for a lot of other like I know that black women love this show. And because I love black women, I want this show to come back. I will watch it.
Speaking of, you know what? Speaking of spinoffs, The Game was a spinoff of Girlfriend, and I love
Mhm.
The Game. I was all
I
into
did.
Melanie
I
and
remember
Darren.
watching the game because the game was just salacious.
Yes. Well, before they went to BET, I liked the
Oh,
CW version.
me too.
BET took it and took it to
Atlantic
like the
Station.
literally, literally. I remember being in Atlantic Station when they was filming one time. I'm like, what's going on here? I remember I was trying to walk down the street and it was like, nah, you can't walk down the street. I'm like, what's going on? And there was literally shooting an episode of The Game.
Derwin
Yep.
and Tia and Tamara.
Well, Tia.
Hmm.
I think The Game is still doing something. They have like 3 iterations of it. I think it's just Tasha
When
Mack
Brandy
and
joined, I was like,
Chardonnay.
I don't have time.
Chardonnay.
Yeah, so I see there's something on Paramount.
Yeah, I think it's just Tasha Mack and her son. And I don't know who else is there. I don't have Paramount. Too many
Child.
streaming.
Yeah, I ain't got it. And that's a shame because Wendy Raquel Robinson is just wonderful.
She is amazing.
You know what she was great on? The Principal in the Steve Harvey
Oh,
show.
Steve, take it back to Steve Harvey.
She was so wonderful in that.
Yeah. All right. Anything else
That's
for
it.
girlfriends?
Hope you enjoyed the show. Hit us up on Instagram at Curry Gumbo. Hope to see you next week. Bye.